Hi, everybody. The question that I've been asked is, how do we make good habits stick? Especially when we get all of a sudden curveballs and life gets super busy. So whether or not you are trying to establish some really great habits in your business, with your relationships, with your wellness, with your parenting. So it doesn't matter where you're trying to apply the habits. These 7 tips, I've got 7 fabulous practical takeaways for you to do to really help you, because we know that when people really learn to set goals, when we actually develop great habits, it's one of the most amazing ways in terms of building confidence. So my name is Dr. Karen. If we haven't met, I've been doing this work for over 25 years. We work with family systems as well as businesses globally, really helping all levels of leadership, leaders really learn practical leadership tools to really help drive their business and their relationships and their wellness. But my background is also as a practitioner, a health practitioner. And so one of the things that people love is that you can apply a lot of the leadership tools that I teach. You can apply both to your business, your parenting, your teams, and also your well-being actually as well. So, all right, so let's dive in. Grab your pen and paper, everybody. 7 practical ways to make your habits stick. Okay, number 1, maybe you're doing some of these. First one is write it down. You've got to write down your habits, because one of the things that's happening is that we are bombarded with all this different information, all this different stimuli that kind of come at us throughout the day. We're constantly being kind of distracted. And so it's really important to write down exactly with what is your habit. We do this in our team with our business. We get our teams to actually establish in terms of what their goals are, with what their habits are that they're establishing. We're really big into daily routine, really getting all of our high performers to really identify in terms of their high performing daily routine, weekly routine. You can also do the same application in terms of with your parenting. We've got twins that are 16. We get them same thing. We get them to actually write down with what their daily routine is and what those good habits are. You want to write them down. People need to come especially for kinesthetic learners, they need to kind of write down what exactly are those habits. That's number 1. Number two is you need to post it somewhere. If we are just constantly trying to keep memory around what's that habit I'm trying to do, what's that goal that I'm chasing after again, we're using up our mental capacity. We have limited amount of mental capacity every single day. I do, you do, we all do. So we want to really protect that mental capacity. We want to make this as easy for ourselves as possible. So we want to write it down, number 1. Number 2 is once we have it written down, we want to post it. I've got clients that once they actually have it identified with what their habits are, they'll put it on their fridge, they'll put it on their mirror. I've got a lot of clients that will actually put it on their mirror, or they're kind of getting ready in the morning. They're kind of like looking at those habits. I have my habits. I do gratitudes every morning. And so actually I have my habits actually built into my gratitude. So kind of at the end of my gratitude and meditation in the morning, I'm like looking at those habits that I'm actually trying to establish for myself. It's really helpful. So you've written it down, and now you're looking at it. Okay, you're looking at it. You've got to look at it every single day, every day. Really, really important. And all these tools are part of emotional intelligence. This is all part of our leadership EQ toolkit. So if you have not received your free scorecard yet on what is leadership emotional intelligence, write down leader down below. Leader, somebody from my team will actually send it to you, and you will see how habits and goal setting are part of the 5 core leadership skills that all of us need to develop, regardless whether we're a teenager, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. If we're 90, doesn't make any difference. These are all habits, wonderful skills we can all learn. Okay, number 3. Tell somebody with what your habit is. The second that we're actually public about it, we're almost kind of building an accountability, because now when we talk to that person, they'll say, how's that going? So as if you're a manager of a team and you know that some of your team members are really working on their sleeping habits or wellness or exercise, and if they've shared that with you, and that's kind of part of it in terms of a bit of a social connection, you can say, how is your habit going for you around ... It shows that you're listening, you're caring, you're paying attention, you're leaning in. And so it's really great to think about maybe who are maybe 1 or 2 kind of key people in your life that you think you could actually share And again, and ask them, not only just say, tell them, but say, you know what, I'm working on this habit. Could you maybe check in with me in maybe about a month? I'd love that, just a little bit of accountability. A lot of friends or colleagues, mentors may not do that check-in if you don't ask them to do that. So that's a really good thing. Number 4, you want to simplify your habit. And so simplify it meaning is in terms of like, I would say simplify it and clarify is kind of maybe the way I would describe it. So simplify and clarify it. So for example, one of the habits that I'm doing is in terms of exercise. It's not just exercising, it's running. And it's not just running, it's running several kilometers every morning before 7:30. And so it is, sometimes I'll do 1 kilometer, sometimes I'll do 4 kilometers. It just, depending in terms of with what my schedule allows for that particular week. But the second that it's running, I run every single day at 7 o'clock. And so now I've kind of like really boiled it down. I've kind of figured it out in terms of what I'm doing, what time I'm actually doing it. I've really kind of simplified and I've clarified it for myself. And that's really helpful. And then the other thing that I do is I put my clothes at the night before. So again, I'm telling my brain, this is your habits that you're doing. This is when you're going to do it. This is going to be how long you do it. So that is, so that really works really quite well as well. Number 5, do you try to do only one habit at a time? I see this a lot, certainly at the beginning of the year when people actually are kind of working on a whole bunch of different habits. Most of us can only really work at one thing at a time. So you can maybe make a list of all the different habits you want to work on or all the different goals. When we do a goal setting exercises with teams or families, we'll get them to map out all the goals or habits they want to establish for the year. But I generally recommend that you only work on executing and really establishing your habits one at a time. Because what happens is that if we're trying to chase too many things, most of us will just become overwhelmed. And what happens when we get overwhelmed? We get paralyzed, we feel deflated, and then we stop doing it, and we don't want that. So try to do one at a time, and I usually recommend start with the easier one. Start with the easiest habit you can have. Number 6, and hopefully you like our content, by the way. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can check out a whole bunch of our other videos. We've got lots of different videos on different leadership tools that will help you both in your business, relationships, and wellness. So just wanted to kind of mention that as well. Number 6, everybody, is treat yourself. So when you are actually, after you've really tried to establish your habit, you're working on it, you're pushing, you're hitting the reset button. If you've kind of gotten off of your habit, you've kind of hit that reset button. Treat yourself. It's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this for the next 2 weeks, or I'm going to do this for the next week. And then I'm going to treat myself to X. With exercising, I actually like to get a new little outfit. That's what I like to treat myself with, because I just like exercising with like better exercising gear. That's for me. But you can, it doesn't have to be, and the treat doesn't have to be a lot. It can be it could be a small treat. It could be, it's the idea that you're working and then you're treating yourself. You're working and then you're rewarding yourself. And rewarding is really important. When we're trying to establish habits with our twin teenagers, we try to get them to establish, again, the daily routine is one of my favorites. We try to help them really establish their daily routine. Then treat yourself. Have an hour or 2 at night to watch a movie or to do some tech time or to have a friend over. You establish that habit, and then you treat yourself. And the treat, the reward, is the stickiness. That's the kind of with why people can kind of really stay kind of connected to their habits. So that is a really important one. That's number 6. And number seven, really important, is try to do your habits. If it works, try to do your habit with somebody. There's a whole movement I'm seeing happening with exercising, for example, that with exercising, you can try to like discipline yourself and establish a habit to do exercising by yourself. But if you know somebody's waiting for you, if you know somebody's waiting at the golf course, they're waiting at the tennis court, they're waiting for you at the corner of the road to kind of go for a run. Now you've kind of it's built-in accountability. You know somebody's actually waiting for you, but it's actually just more fun. So if you can actually be doing a habit that you know is good for you and you're making it social, that is really going to help. So we like to run as a family. That's our thing. We like to actually run as a family. This has been inspired by my boys. And so we have established this habit. It's been really good. This is not a natural thing for me. This is not in my natural DNA. But I knew it would be a good habit for me to establish, and I'm so happy I do it. And it just puts me in a great headspace for business, for meetings, for consulting the work that we do. And so doing it with other people is a really great thing to do. So again, these are all parts of your leadership EQ. This is everything you were talking about is part of your leadership EQ. You're setting a goal. It's now building in your relationships. It focuses on your time management. Now it's going to actually reduce your stress. When we start working on one of these, it has a ripple effect in all of these. Again, so if you haven't received our scorecard, definitely get your hands on it. Just write leader down below. Somebody will send it to you. And you'll see by just implementing these 7, you're actually helping to build up your emotional intelligence in several different categories. You'll see it when you get your scorecard. So hopefully you've enjoyed, everybody. If you have suggestions for other topics you would like me to cover, definitely let us know down below. And be sure to check out all of our other videos as well. Thanks so much.